Hey guys, Dr. Mark Superna here, Family Healing Chiropractic. Hope you guys can hear me well. We're going to start this new series of webinars weekly that we're going to be talking about different topics within chiropractic that I hear from different people and how we can help you and your family address some of these issues along the way. And so, first question I got from my patients when I asked the question is, most people are asking the question of, can chiropractic help back pain? It's kind of funny because it's a reality of what I live in. And when before I became a chiropractor, I thought chiropractic was strictly about neck pain and back pain too, because that's what you grew up with in the medical model, medical industrial complex in the world that it live in. You think, oh, well, somebody's pushing on your back. There must be back pain. It must be what chiropractors do. And as I dove into chiropractic, got further into school, and then of course graduated and started diving into more and deeper about what chiropractic really is, I found out there's so much deeper than that. And so I'm going to tell a little bit of my story, going to be super quick and simple and easy with these webinars, but I want to get to the facts of what's really going on within the world when it comes to back pain, strictly around that, but then also talk about what can you do about it for yourself, for your family, if you are suffering from that. I always like to start with my girls because let's face it, they're pretty. And so it's always a fun story to tell. And I usually get a lot of sympathy when I start talking about them. But here they are getting ready for a wedding that we did up in Chicago last year. And it just kind of captures their personalities perfectly. But I show this picture to tell you this, that I grew up in the medical model where if you have neck pain or back pain or have headaches, or in my case, I had asthma and allergies, you go to the doctor, and you go to the doctor to get the symptoms treated through a drug, through a procedure, through whatever. And so what I found when I went to chiropractic school, I went to school with asthma, allergies, headaches, stomach ulcers, and digestive problems, and 4 different medications I was taking at 21 years old. I was an athlete. I was a scholarship rugby player and a scholarship baseball player. So I was active. I was super healthy. I looked healthy on the outside, but I really had a lot of problems, a lot of issues. But when I went to my 3rd year pre-med at University of Iowa, my academic advisor said to me, she goes, "Hey, you should go see my chiropractor." And I thought she was crazy because I didn't know what chiropractic really was. And I went and they started telling me that how the body was designed to heal itself, and that symptoms are warning signals that your body is not adapting or something's trying to figure something out in there. And so I started getting adjusted. Within about 2-3 months, I came off all 4 of my medications and lived the last 31 years of my life with no drugs, no medications, because I know how the body's designed to work. We applied that to raising these 4 girls. These 4 girls have been through their life, majority of their life, with no drugs, no pills, nothing in their body. They've never had a vaccine in their body. They're 100% the way that God designed it. And so that's what we teach in this office. And you can see the office behind me. It's a snow day, so nobody's here. And that's why I got the toque on. And but what's really amazing is that these girls were raised in this model. What I'm going to teach you guys today about what back pain, neck pain, what that stuff really means. The reality is that how common is back pain? 80% of Americans will have back pain at some point in time in their life. 28% of US adults report low back or sciatic nerve problems, neuropathy. 44% of them have had this for more than 5 years. Now, I tell you these stats because I want to let you guys know it's pretty common. And so a lot of people that complain about it, they think it's common, but just because it's common doesn't make it normal. It's not supposed to be there. This is not how God designed us. If we were taking care of our body the way that God designed it, we're not supposed to have these problems along the way. It costs so much money in the United States for people with just back pain itself. And this is why a lot of chiropractors, even a lot of chiropractic schools think, oh man, we should just focus on being back pain because everybody can understand that this is about back pain. But I'm going to teach you guys that it's so much more than that here in a little bit. But over $100 billion every single year are put into this expensive back pain issues that we have. That includes surgeries, drugs, and all this other stuff that all those things do is they cover up the symptoms, and that's it. Then we start to talk about, well, what does this mean from a daily life? How does it affect your body, physical limitations? Well, I mean, obviously, if you have back pain, you can't move. Some of you guys know the story about me. I over holidays, December 23rd, I was doing a workout class at 6 a.m. in the morning, and I did a deadlift, and I destroyed my disc in the low back. I say destroyed it. I felt like I destroyed it. I was hurting so badly. I couldn't move for like 3 or 4 days. And so not just to mention the physical limitation that it did for me for the holidays, but the reality of what this did for me from a mental standpoint and emotional standpoint. I missed holidays. Like I missed like get-togethers with friends. I missed church. I missed so many layers of things that I would have loved. I want to do over. And I realized I felt like God was giving me these problems because he's trying to say, hey, look, be a little bit more sympathetic for people that are coming through your office doors. You know, there's things. And I know this through going through this. all this back pain, all these problems, not just the money and time and energy spent, but really I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to work. I didn't want to think. I didn't want to read. I didn't want to pray. I didn't want to read scripture. I didn't want to go to church. Like the amount of things that when you have aches and pains, and I'm talking more than just back pain now, neck pain, back pain, digestive problems, asthma, allergies, headaches, stomach ulcers, digestive problem, you name it. These things are all warning signals. Symptoms are warning signals of something bigger, that there's a bigger problem there, that your body, when these symptoms shows up, it actually means your body's trying to adapt to stressors. And so where those stressors are coming from, that's for us to figure out. And so I always come back to it. And when patients really struggle with a lot of aches and pains, a lot of problems over the course of a period of time, I try to help them understand. I'm like, listen, this really comes down to is that you've got to get to the root cause of what's really causing this issue. And I know it sounds so simple, but I really look at it from many different standpoints, but really like put the things in place. So like if you're a Christian and you're like, man, my finances are messed up, my marriage is messed up, my family's messed up, all these things, my life, my work, blah, 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 blah. The reality is you always come back to, what does scripture say? What am I supposed to do? Like, how am I supposed to treat each other? How am I supposed to raise my kids? How am I supposed to have the marriage? All the things that we have are there laid out for us, the principles of what we're supposed to do on a day-to-day basis. Does that mean that life's always going to be perfect? No, but it gives us the best fighting chance. It's the same thing when it comes to your health, really, is that what we try to do is try to get people back to doing the right things for their health and their life so that their body can take the energy that you're putting into it and go through the healing process like it's designed to do. Your body was designed to heal itself, but you have to give it the right fuel. Like I was telling one of my daughters this the other day, I'm like, if you put the wrong gas in your car, that car's not going to work efficiently. That if you put diesel in it, especially, it's not going to work at all. So like the same thing happens with the body. You've got to give yourself the right thoughts. You have to get up in the morning and be in love and peace and gratitude and the fruit of the spirit and be in that pathway of like loving people instead of being angry, because that affects you and affects the healing that you have inside your body. And then you have to make sure that your nerve system is able to adapt and function properly. That means having a properly functioning nerve system and spine, because the reality is that most of us go to work and we sit for hours on end and we sit on our phone for hours on end. So we're constantly putting stress physically into our nervous system. And then on top of it, the emotional stress, the spiritual stress, the chemical stress that we're exposed to on a day-to-day basis, our bodies are inundated with all these stressors. And what happens is if the body's not working, the body will do something to tell you. It's kind of like these symptoms that you see here. These are warning signals. All they are, it's like the oil light on your dashboard. You can't take a piece of black tape and put it over top of the oil light, because if you do that, you won't see the light or the warning anymore, but it's going to keep causing issues later on down the road. So these symptoms are warning signals that you have a bigger problem underlying. So where is that? Where is that coming from? So if you look at the function chart here, I love this as it goes from left to right, 0% to 100%. I love asking my patients this. And when we're in class form, when we're doing classes here, we're doing reports in here, I ask my patients, if your body's functioning at 0% function, what's wrong with you? And everybody knows that they say, you're dead. And that's because everything's wrong with you. And that's correct. But if your body's functioning at 100% function, what's right with you? And they say everything. And I mean everything, not meaning that just you don't have back pain anymore, you don't have headaches anymore, you don't have depression, anxiety anymore, but things are functioning that you don't even know have issues and problems. The body's doing what it's supposed to do. And there's millions and millions of things that only God knows are happening inside of our body when your body is functioning at 100%. As you lose function in your body, though, you go from 100% down to 90%, down to 80%, down to 60%. Symptoms, the warning signals in your body, this is what's crazy, and it's beautiful about the body, but it's also crazy about the body, is that symptoms don't show up until it's later in the process of degeneration. And so when the body gets later in the process of degeneration or breaking down or adapting, that's finally when the symptom shows up. And the thing that we've been misled about in the last 50 to 100 years with the medical industrial complex is that we are being taught to chase the symptoms, hide the symptoms, take the steroid for the symptom, take the painkiller for the symptom, do the surgery for the symptom, do the hormone replacements for the thyroid, do all these things to hide the symptom, but we don't do anything to address the actual cause, or what can we do to support the body so it can heal at the highest level. So here in our office, what we really focus on is how do we get your body back to functioning at or near close to 100%, the best it possibly can. Our job is not to heal you. Our job is to teach you how to support your body the best you can so that it can function, so it can do the things that it needs to do on a regular basis. So ideally, by the time that you get symptoms, it's already really late in the process. That's why you'll see on a normal Monday, you'll see tons of families, kids, little kids, babies in here. And whenever I post a baby video on here on the internet, people go crazy because people that don't know anything about chiropractic don't understand, and they'll start to say this is a crime. They shouldn't be adjusting babies. No, that's the time that you should. Do you realize that the way that the doctors, the medical industrial complex, sets up having babies, unless you do a natural home birth with a midwife with no stress or pressure to the spine, like these are medical procedures that are causing major trauma. And there's tons of research out there about the traumas and dangers that they put on pulling the spine out, pulling the baby by the head with suction cups or forceps, or even if it's natural or if it's a C-section, there's even more stress to the spine. That stress starts early on and it goes undetected because we're like, oh, baby's here, baby's healthy, everybody's good. They might have a lot of ear infections, they might have this, and we just kind of keep chalking it up to, let's take another drug or pill. And so what we do here from the beginning of life all the way to the end of life is we support your body in its own healing the way that God designed it, which is what you're supposed to do. Well, when you start to look at what controls the function of your body, you look at the way that the body's set up. And the way that God designed the body, there's one organ in your body that controls and coordinates and functions all the systems in your body. That is your brain. Your brain controls how you see, how you hear, how you breathe, how the hormones balance, how your body's able to adapt to its environment. It happens because the brain, that innate intelligence, it's inborn intelligence. It's the same in all living things. They call it innate or inborn intelligence. That if you take a plant and you turn it away from the light, what it wants to do is it wants to turn towards the light. Why? Because it wants to survive. Your body wants to survive even that much more, and it's even more complicated. And that innate, it flows through the body in many, many different ways. But its favorite and fastest way is through the nerve system. So the brain sends messages down through the spinal cord, out the nerves to all the organs, cells, and tissues. And it tells the organ cells and tissues what they're supposed to do, how they're supposed to coordinate, how the heart rate's supposed to go up if you see a bear, how the lungs breathe differently if you're at rest or if you're in stress times or whatever it is, how the insulin in the body and the glucagon and all the body, all the systems, all the hormones, how they're supposed to balance. Your brain is constantly controlling that or coordinating that. Not only does the brain send messages down through the spinal cord, out the nerves to all the organ cells and tissues, but the organ cells and tissues and the systems in the body constantly are sending messages back up through the nerve system to your brain to tell your brain, this is what's right, this is what's wrong, I need help here, I don't need help here. And so that coordination system is what allows the body to be healthy. Back to my girls. What do I test them for never having taken drugs or having problems in their body and how their bodies are able to heal throughout their whole life and they're 22 to 14 years old? We attribute that to eating healthy food, right mindset, prayer, focusing on the right things in your head, making sure that the nerve system's functioning at 100%, and making sure that we keep away from as many toxicities as we possibly can. That's it. Like if you start to support the way that God designed the body will take care of you better than what it is now. Does that mean that everybody's going to live forever if you get adjusted? That's not what I'm saying. Does that mean that if you get adjusted, you're never going to get cancer? That's not what I'm saying. But and people say, well, but you can't affect somebody that's got a genetic condition. And I'm like, no, but if they have a genetic condition, guess what their body should be functioning like? 100% or 60%? What do you think their body should be functioning like? It's always, no matter what, the body needs to be functioning at the highest level that you possibly can. And that's where the nerve system comes in. And that's where we start to help people. So if you come into our office and you have neck pain or back pain or anything like that, I automatically think, okay, number one, you have three options. Number one is you can go home and do nothing about it. But if there's stress to the spine and the nerve system that's causing this, it's only going to keep getting worse as you get older. Number two option is you can go to a medical doctor. They give you muscle relaxants, painkillers. They can give you physical therapy. You can go to a chiropractor that does heat and ice and roller tables and all this other fun stuff. You can do those things and make the body feel better. But if you're just hiding symptoms, you're still not addressing the cause. Or number three, you can address the cause of the issue, which is where we get to, is back down to the cause of the issue. And we want to find that through seeing what is the integrity of your nerve system. Is there stress there? And so a normal spine and nerve system has a properly functioning spinal cord, and the nerves And there's proper motion and function at every single joint inside of your spine. And you can see the top one there, that's normal. And they call it a nerve impingement syndrome or a choked nerve or stress or oppression. It's not exactly rudimentary like you see it here on this illustration, but it gives you a good idea of, like, some chiropractors have described it as you like a kink in a garden hose. You can't get the water to the garden. I've said that before. Or like a safety pin cycle, that if you unclip the safety pin cycle, the brain and spinal cord, the brain and body can't communicate with each other. All those things. The key here to understand is that if you have disruption of the communication from your brain to your body, the body can't go through its healing process or can't go through its adaptation process, coordination, like it's supposed to. So what we do is we come in and we allow your body, and we find the areas of your spine and nerve system that have stress and pressure, and we alleviate that so your brain can start to communicate and so the body can start to heal the way that God designed it. This is a great example. I'm going to show you a couple pictures. And then again, if you guys have questions, drop them below, or you can text us. You can see the number down below for a consult, 704-540-0055 for that consult, or check us out on our website that you see there on the banner below here. But the reality here is that when we take x-rays and scans and I check range of motion, posture, and I palpate the spine, I'm looking for adaptations of your spine. Is it abnormal of what your body's doing from the inside that's disrupting how the brain's able to communicate? So when this picture you're seeing here on the screen right now is that this person's looking, you're basically looking into their ear here. You can see the jaw here on the left-hand side and the back of the head's on the right-hand side. And there's there's the red lines on there that show the curvature in there. In this case, it says about 42 to 45 degrees. What you're looking for is you want to be between 40 and 45 degrees. That means when we take a picture of that, if I feel the spine, if all the muscles are working well, range of motion is good, and the spine's in this position, and I don't feel that there's any subluxation or misalignment, that means this person's working at 100%. That means their body's adapting at the highest level that it's supposed to and can, and that's what we're looking for. And then you start to take pictures of other people, and this is what we find more commonly, is we find people that have had reversal of curves or loss of curve or degeneration or spinal decay in the spine where there's disc spaces are missing. And this happens because there's been so much stress to the nerve system, the body's been adapting. And so this is not necessarily a bad news thing. This is your body's been trying to adapt to this, but nobody's ever taught you how to take care of your spine or to get your spine checked. So this is a great opportunity. If the spine looks like this, now our job is to come in here and take the pressure off the nerve system and help you understand how you can support that system so it can function at its highest. And when we start to do that, then the body's able to start to go through its own healing process, and it's very super successful. In this room here, we've been here for 21 years, almost 22 years. And I've seen people heal from that have reported to us healing of neck pain and back pain, of course, digestive problems, headaches, migraine headaches, depression, anxiety. I've seen people that have come in here that have claimed that we've reversed diabetes. Their blood sugar came down, their A1C came down, their cancer markers, their tumor markers went down, their body was supportive. We've seen these things happen firsthand. And where I'm not going to sit here and claim that I heal these things, because I don't heal these things. But what we get a chance to do in our doctors here is we check this spine and nerve system, and we find out the structure of your nerve system. If there's stress, if there's pressure there, and the body's not able to adapt the way it's supposed to, then the body can't do what it's supposed to do and can't heal the way that it's supposed to heal. So if you're out there, and it doesn't matter if you have neck pain, back pain, digestive problems, cancers, heart disease, diabetes, if you want to know, is my body firing at or near 100%, or is it less than that? This is a great opportunity for you guys right now. Just give us a call, ask for a consult. You can type that in, text us 704-540-0055. Just text the word consult, and we'll know that you're coming from the webinar. And basically what we'll do is we'll set up a time where you can sit down with one of our doctors, do an exam consultation, and we can actually get to the bottom of what is really causing or what's really going within your nerve system, how's it being affected, and what we can do to help you out along the way. So hope you like this. If you have other topics that you want me to talk about, I'm going to be doing a webinar weekly until we have a good database of all the things that I can send out to all my patients, because people come into us and say, hey, my friend has this. Can you help them with that? So if you know somebody that's dealing with the problems I talked about today, forward this to them and send them the link to this so they can see it and hear it for themselves. Maybe it's possibly going to change their life forever, because I'll tell you this, once I got better after the holidays, once my back, I was able to start to get back to work and working out and hanging out with my kids and doing all the things I love to do. life gets better. And so when you're struggling in that world and you're just dealing with the aches and pains and you're medicating the heck out of it, it's just not a fun place to be in. And so what we're trying to do is try to help eradicate a lot of that and help people understand how to take care of themselves the right and proper way. So hope you guys all have a great and blessed day. We'll see you guys soon.